podcast for dinner.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ian Fragomeni, and welcome to the second episode of the Flat 5 podcast, where we deep dive into all things music related, analyzing songs from the artistic and technical perspective, still balancing ideas with my knowledge and experience, occasionally giving my 2 cents on the music business. Today, we are talking about Gravity by Brent Faiyaz, DJ Dahi, and Tyler, the Creator. And man, do I love when 3 great artists collaborate. This song gets the new Flat 5 certified badge of banger approval. And this song is an onion. And what's an onion, you ask? Well, it's a term you and I are going to coin on this podcast as we peel back the layers of each song per episode. Now, the first 20 seconds of Gravity just hook me in right away. The quirky guitar, the chimes, the increasing amount of vocal layers and harmonies, and that little crackling tape sound are what my ears latch onto. DJ Dahi brings these drums that play for a few repetitions, pull away, and then come back in with this explosion sound that lines up right on the kick drum. There are a ton of vocal layers that are infectious, simple, yet melodic, and that's the talent that Brent Faiyaz brings to the table. These vocal layers are whispered lines that really add to your subconscious to get you, the listener, in the right frame of mind for the song. Excuse me. Artists like Billie Eilish and Faiyaz are experts at creating what's called non-intrusive vocal layers. It's a production and creative technique that artists do, which I find has been really successful. The real genius behind these vocal layers is that the listener has the ability to catch these added layers on their 5th, 6th, 7th listen to continue investing themselves in the song. But these same layers do not throw off your ears on your first few listens. In my opinion, this is why it's a production and creative technique. The creative skill lies in singing these vocal layers and harmonies that sound good on the 1st and 7th listen, and the production skill exists to place these sounds in a way that isn't directly audible or intrusive on your first listen, and it sits at the right spot for you to hear later on. Meaning the main melody, also known as like the sing-along sentences, are always heard, but your brain can actually push them aside. Now, from Brent and Tyler's perspective, the song generally seems to describe a girlfriend or a significant other that keeps the two in check and grounded from the crazy, tempting life of being a famous musician. Tyler and Brent have all of these great things when they're gone, but they know they have this girl waiting for them back at home. For example, in Tyler's verse, he has this line that says, "Hard to be down on Earth when you're nested on Mars." Both Tyler and Brent understand that this life that they're living isn't the greatest thing for a relationship. It's actually more on the side of being detrimental than progressive. Therefore, they don't want their significant other, their girlfriend, waiting too long. Now, the difficult part of the story from the musician's point of view is that you sit in this weird situation of not being able to fulfill the commitment in a relationship while you're out on tour, where you personally are fulfilled with the lifestyle you live. Obviously, this isn't the case for every musician or for people that work out on the road, but I'm just talking about the perspective of this song. Now, on top of all of that, no one wants to be the best friend of someone you're really attracted to. It's very difficult to do that. It's difficult to be attracted to somebody, to be friends with somebody and to be attracted to them, whether it be physically, mentally, or spiritually. And you, as the listener, can understand why. Now, it would be fantastic to hear a little EP from Dahi, Tyler, and Brent Faiyaz. I would absolutely love to hear Tyler's passion and aggression, how that would blend with Brent's voice. That's what I'm wanting here. Now, let's talk about the artist's history and discography. DJ Dahi is quite the accredited DJ. He's worked with J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Madonna, Post Malone, and 2 beautiful souls who are no longer with us, DMX and Mac Miller. 2 musicians that I adore, respect, and miss dearly. And I'm sure that Dahi cherishes his time with those 2 fine artists. With Brent Faiyaz, I first heard one of his songs, a personal story for me. I first heard one of Brent Faiyaz's songs sitting in the car with a girl I used to date back in the summer of 2020. And she knew that I was into music that had different styles and influences in it all in one. So she showed me Brent Faiyaz's album Saunderson, and it was pretty good on the first listen, but I will admit there wasn't really anything right away that stuck out that made me want to go back. It wasn't until I got home that night from that one time we were hanging out where she said, you should really listen to this song, First World Problems. I think you'd enjoy it. And I actually did. The 90s drum sound and the Latin styled guitar in that tune really stick out. And I occasionally listen to that record from time to time. With Tyler, I was introduced to him through Vine, and the Gen Z and millennials, if I've got that age demographic correctly, we all remember Vine. Vine used to be life support for us back in school. And that's where I found Tyler, the Creator, and his music. And at first, I'll be honest, I didn't really care too much about it. It was edgy, which I always respect and I love. I honestly thought that he did a better job of making people laugh than he was a musician. I always kind of thought he was more of like a internet personality, but that was my ignorance, not knowing who Tyler really was at that age. When I heard Oldie by the Odd Future group, that's when I really started to appreciate him as a musician as opposed to just a personality. But when Igor came out, that's when things got serious. That's when I really started to gain a respect for Tyler's musicality and his ability to either create something on his own or have somebody else come in. Now, off the top of my head, even though I haven't listened to Igor in some time, I don't know how many other artists there are on that record. I think there's a rumor, or maybe I haven't heard it from enough people, that Jack White was on the last song of that record, whatever that one's called. But if you want to listen to something from Tyler, from Brent Faiyaz, I would recommend Saunderson because I know them. I would recommend Igor or Flower Boy from Tyler, the Creator, to sort of work backwards with Tyler and get a good feel of where Brent Faiyaz is at today. Now with DJ Dahi, there, like I said, like all those artists, he's worked with so much people. If you're a Kendrick fan, I know he worked on Money Trees, which is a sick beat. So you definitely should listen to anything that Dahi has worked on. But finally, I want to give a shout out to DMX, who passed away a couple weeks ago from today. That man left a legacy in the rap industry. And for anybody that doesn't really know him, you can hear that legacy in the rap artists today. You can hear the raw truth that he brought, along with other rappers that he brought to the rap industry, and you can hear that today. So I also want to say thank you to everybody for joining the Flat 5 family, for sharing the podcast, and for adding songs on our collaborative playlist on Spotify. If you add a song to the playlist and you want me to shout out something you do, whether it's creative, whether it's your business or whatever, if it makes sense, by all means, I'm more than happy to give a shout out of what you do. If you add a song to the podcast, do DM me on Instagram or other social media at Ian F Music so I can give you that shout out. Be sure to check out new episodes of the Flat 5 podcast coming out soon. I have some interviews lining up as well. Check out the past couple episodes for this one. And that's all, everybody. We'll talk soon.